In a lot of these videos, we talk about narcissism. We talk about narcissistic traits. But how do we deal effectively with the narcissist that you have to deal with in your life? On today's video, I'm going to explain how to deal with that narcissist effectively without losing your own identity. Glad to see you back today. And today I want to talk about how to deal effectively with the narcissist that you have to deal with. You know, we see a lot of videos out there about the narcissist, the narcissistic traits, avoiding the narcissist. But a lot of us have to deal with these folks. And some of these folks are either family members, right? Their spouses, or it's somebody that we have to work directly with on a daily basis. So let's dig in right now and discuss the 7 things that you can do to deal with the narcissist effectively without losing yourself. The first thing that I want you to do, and this may be challenging, is to stop making the narcissist the center of attention. I want you to be aware of the tendency of catering to them. Because remember, when you first met this person, you made them the center of attention in your life. You made them that, and now it's time to break that cycle and begin to pull focus back to you. When you pull focus back to you, it means that you're actually going to start focusing on you, your needs, your wants, your desires, okay? And I want you to ask yourself a question. When was the last time that you thought about your needs when you've been dealing with this narcissist? Because many of you are living with a narcissist, okay? Some of you are married to a narcissist, right? Some of you have a mom or a dad who's a narcissist. When was the last time that you thought about your needs over their needs? And that's something to really think about, okay? So this is going to take time and effort, but if we can break this cycle, it's going to make major changes in your life. The second thing that I want you to do is to be honest in your word and deed. And that means that when the narcissist says that you've done something wrong and that's not true, is not to just agree with them to get out of the argument, okay? I want you to step up to the plate for yourself. I don't want you to get angry. I don't want you to start a knockdown, drag-out fight, but I want you to stand up to the truth of that, okay? Because when we let somebody tell a lie, or when we let somebody blame us for something we didn't do, that's not honest and that's not truthful. I want us to be sure to stick with that because we want to make sure that we're being honest in word and deed, and that we're expecting the other person to be honest in word and deed too, and we're holding them to it. The third thing that I want you to do is to ask yourself, what are your values, what are your beliefs, and what are your morals? So basically, what you stand for. And I want you to really think about this. And this might take several days. It might take several weeks to really work through this. But I want you to write this down in a private journal that nobody has access to. And I want you to really think about it. What do I stand for? What do I believe in? What do I value most? What are the things that I value most in my life, okay? And then from there, I want you to really get to know who you are, because this is going to help you to understand yourself. It's going to give you great insight into yourself. And it's probably something you've never done because you've been catering to other people a lot in your life. And especially if you're seriously surrounded by many narcissists or you're married to a narcissist, you can lose yourself in that other person. The second reason why this is important is because knowing this information allows you to create and assimilate boundaries, your non-negotiables, right? The things that you will not deal with. So if somebody tries to step over your boundary about a personal belief, you know that's a boundary and you don't allow that to happen. Remember, we have to train other people to understand what we will and will not allow, okay? And that's our boundaries. And once you understand that and you stand true by that, your relationship with this person will definitely change. But you have to be consistent and you have to do it every time. Because if you don't, if you give them an inch, they will take a mile. The fourth thing that I want you to do is to always have clear boundaries, okay? I don't want them to be muddled. I don't want them to be confusing. Because if they're confusing, they're definitely confusing to the other person as well. And I also don't want you to confuse somebody by being wishy-washy. Just like I said, if you're wishy-washy and you don't stand by them, the other person won't respect them, and they damn sure will not help you to stand by those boundaries, right? Okay, so think about that. I need you to set clear and concise boundaries based on understanding yourself with clarity. And this is important. And this takes time and effort. But the coolest thing about that exercise is it begins to show you, the inner you, that you actually care about yourself. And this goes a long way to eventually developing that unconditional love that so many people talk about. But it has to start here, and this is where it begins. The fifth thing that I want you to realize is that it's not all about them and that you're not the one causing all the problems, okay? Remember, the narcissist is rarely going to take responsibility for anything, okay? And I need you to know that. And so when they're pushing your buttons, when they're gaslighting you, you need to have a sense of peace somehow. And that means that within your heart and mind, you have to know the truth. You don't always have to argue it. You don't always have to fight it. But in order to keep your sanity in these situations and not go to that level, you need to know it within the inside. So being super mindful in any of these situations adds to the clarity. Because when you're in a relationship with someone that has narcissistic tendencies or might be suffering from narcissistic personality disorder, you need to know where you stand. Because otherwise you can clearly lose yourself very easily in a situation and be in an argument and have it escalate, or begin to question your own sanity, or begin to question what really did happen in that situation or what you really did see. So you need to have that clarity and understanding, and the only way to do that is to be super mindful and be in the moment so that you can defend yourself or not really deal with it, but just know that this has nothing to do with you. The sixth thing that I want you to remember is that anytime you make changes to any situation in life, other people are going to test your changes. Okay? So when you're starting to make these changes where they're no longer the center of attention, right? And you're actually pulling focus on you. When you begin to remember that you have to stand tall, that you also begin to work on those values, those morals, beliefs, and creating those boundaries, right? And being true to yourself, they're probably going to test you on these new changes. Because it's going to be extremely different than the old you, the way that you used to act, right? And so remember that when they're testing you, right, we got to stay the course. We also don't want to lose our cool. We don't want to get angry, and it's really hard not to. But the more that we can be more adult-like, the more that we can be more healthy, and the more that we can be more consistent will go a long way to retraining the person in this situation. But consistency is key, okay? Because, like I said earlier, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. Okay? And if they don't believe that you're really believing this new change, they're going to find ways to break you down. Okay? Because remember, a narcissist doesn't like boundaries. It's not something they're fond of. It's not something they like. They don't really understand them. So when you're creating this new healthy kind of atmosphere within yourself, they're going to test you. Just be ready for those tests and just keep working it. Because over a period of time, you're going to retrain them at least to a certain degree, and you're going to have at least a little bit or even more peace of mind than you've had in the past. Last but not least, seeking a therapist or life coach who has a ton of experience dealing with narcissism and cluster B personality disorders. This can be extremely helpful, right? And it'll give you someone that you can talk to, right? Someone that you can discuss the situation with in a safe environment that's not going to get back to your family and friends. Some of our family and friends have great advice, and some of them are amazing people, but when we're discussing something that's really close to our hearts and we're discussing maybe somebody that they know very well or related to, well, they're probably not going to be somewhere in the middle in the conversation because they have a stake in the matter. Okay? And so it's better to talk to someone that has no skin in the game and someone that can really come from a position of helping you have clarity instead of adding more drama onto your plate already. So it's powerful stuff. These 7 things can really change your life when it comes to the narcissist, you know, because sometimes these relationships can be salvaged and sometimes they can be successful, but they could only be successful when we live within our own personal power. Okay, without our personal power, without being true to us, they can't be successful because it cannot be a successful relationship where I lose myself in the relationship. Okay, we have to be solid like a rock in this relationship, and we have to be consistent. Okay, and we have to have those boundaries. That's the only way that this relationship will survive, and it's the only way that you can have a somewhat healthy relationship. I hope this video has helped you. Please share this with your family and friends. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. In the comment section below, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know of some subject matter that you would like me to discuss in upcoming videos. I'd love to hear your feedback, and I would love to create stuff specific to things that are interesting you or things that you're dealing with currently to have a positive impact on that. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel, for being a part of the community, and don't forget to live your true life. Hey friends, I hope that you resonated with that content that you just saw and that you could take something from it that can impact your life in a positive way. Check out my website. Go to ashleyberges.com. You can click on the coaching section and you can see that I offer 30, 60, and 90-minute sessions. Clients usually hire me once a week, once every 2 weeks, or once a month to really work to get into the patterns and cycles of their life, to understand why they have toxicity in their life and why they've chosen toxic relationships, to understand why there's certain patterns that seem to be almost impossible to overcome, to understand where the negative broken record started. Where do we get these negative thoughts about ourselves? Why do we begin to start putting ourselves down? Why are we our worst critics? And why have we become such a perfectionist? These are the things that we got to get to. And we be able to actually uncover those together and walk that journey together, to let go of those negative cycles, to understand where they began, but better yet, how to create a new solid foundation so that you can be successful in every area of your life. Once we're able to do that, we realize our value, and it's really hard to get there because we have those thoughts in our head that tell us that we're one thing or another, or not as good, or that we're not good enough to be loved, or whatever that broken record is telling us. It's time to eliminate that in the right way, and it's time to work together to create that solid ground so that you can create the life that you've always dreamed of. Oh, wait a second. I just forgot one thing. I have a new masterclass, the 10-Day Challenge to Live Your True Life Masterclass. It's 10 video coaching sessions packaged in one, where you can take it day by day based on the 10-Day Challenge to Live Your True Life book. Whether you hire me as your personal coach to work one-on-one with you, whether in person, Skype, FaceTime, or phone, or you begin to take the masterclass series, or both, I look forward to walking that journey with you. And I'm glad that you selected me to work with you, because I look forward to seeing the changes, and I look forward to being a part of that new, powerful, unconditionally loved being who realizes their value. Have a great day.